Here we go. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Frank Cox here. SmokerBuilder. We're at SmokerBuilder Week. I got a bunch of buddies here with me. I got these Shirley boys. There's two here, and there's one right there. And then I got Aaron with us and my boy Joe. Bob will be here momentarily. And we're just going to hope you guys can hear us okay. We're just going to play the little intro here, and we're going to get right into it. We're just going to have a conversation tonight and just see what we don't even know what we're going to talk about. We're just going to sit here and have a drink and have fun. Supposed to go. Try again. Okay, we're not going to play the. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I hope you guys can hear me. Everything's going crazy over here. What's up? Hey, man, it says we don't know who you are, though.
Yep.
So we're currently live on YouTube and two places on Facebook. Let me introduce everybody so far. On this side of me, that's my buddy Paul Shirley. We go way back. This is Ross Springer with Shirley Fabrication. Right across the street there, over there, however you're looking at it. That's Tyler. He's also Shirley Fab. That's Aaron, and then my boy Joe. We hope you guys are having a good time tonight. We don't even know what we're going to talk about. We're up here at the welding school. We've been in here cooking and hanging out and doing all kinds of stuff today to get ready for tomorrow. And anyway, I'm going to let Paul kind of talk about Shirley Fabrication. When did you start it?
We started Shirley Fabrication, me and Tyler, about what, Tyler? How long? 10 years ago? 11?
Almost 12. I would say it started whenever I graduated high school, pretty much. That's whenever we started welding and doing, welding the business. I wouldn't necessarily say we started Shirley Fabrication at that point, but yeah, it started pretty much whenever I got out of high school. I went and worked an internship at actually where Paul works now, Hunter Finding, and found out real quick that wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. They had me in there sorting through files and paperwork and printing stuff off the computer and sticking them in envelopes. I did it for about a month and a half. I was like,
I can't do this.
It's not for me. My body can't do this.
Yeah.
After that, we started doing welding and that.
Yeah. How old was you?
18.
He was 18.
He started out with me. Tyler started out with me on my first job back then. He was probably 14 years old. My brother-in-law owned a big construction company, and we'd work on his equipment. So the first job I ever had Tyler do, I'll never forget, wasn't a shade tree within 100 yards, man. And it was hot. So I was repairing a big trailer that got torn up and was cutting fenders out. And I had laid them out, and I had Tyler over there cutting them with a Matabo. And you remember, don't you? My brother-in-law came up, said, "You got that boy working, right?" I said, "Yeah, I do." But I told Tyler that day, I said, "Look," I said, "I don't care if you do this for a living. I really don't. But know how to do something. Learn how to do something. Have some skill, Right. So from that point, he started working with me. When he was in the shop with me there at the house, he was building some of the most slick custom bumpers you ever seen.
Yeah.
When he was in high school,
I remember the bumper days.
But now, just to make it official, Tyler is he is the official owner of Shirley Fabrication. Has been for how long? 5 years, probably 5 or 6, maybe.
That's what's wrong with it.
But we had some labor problems one time. I felt like it was labor problems. I came out there and threw one of my Paul fits and threw it where else. I tell you what, I got a full-time job. You take this son of a gun over. And basically that's the way it went down. And he did, and he's done great with it. Yeah. I still, people ask this question, well, why? Who's who? Who's what? I'll tell you this. I work 4 days on, 4 days off in a refinery. I build cookers on my off days. Now that Tyler's in his new shop, he's there. I'm at my shop. So I still do stuff under Shirley Fabrication, but I have license, I have business license and all that. But Tyler is the owner. He's the heavy hitter with all the stuff going on. And you can tell him a little bit what you do you do a lot besides cookers. And that's what people don't understand. And Tyler.
That's my brother. Whenever I started doing, just miscellaneous fabrication work, not cookers, straight out of high school, just to pay for school. And Ross, I guess he's 8 years younger than me, so I was 18. You know, he was 10 years old out there running the grinder, grinding the slag off a plate, and, you know, whatever. And then, you know,
I thought I ruled the world too. I tell you.
as I started doing more stuff, you know, we started doing plant maintenance for a concrete plant. And at that time, he was probably 13, so he would come out there and drag welding leads, run the torch hoses, cut clay. You know, 13 years old again. You know, so that happened, and then you know we would do bench work and anything to make a dollar, pretty much.
All kind of stuff.
You know, it just kind of snowballed. And they started doing that, and then we started doing heavy equipment repair, and then I think at that point I was probably 23. Paul wanted to build a cooker for himself, so we built this big tandem axle trailer rig, and had I don't even remember what all it had on it, but it was a bunch of stuff. And, I think after we did that, Paul may have posted some photos, and then a guy from Tennessee wanted to cook. And
It kind of started out a guy in Birmingham wanted one. We didn't know what we had investigated cookers and looked at stuff was on SmokerBuilder a lot forum, with Cam and Reckless and Kill Switch, tons of people. It was great. I mean, we learned a lot. So I started investigating cookers. First one we built was for me. Then we decided we'd build one. Didn't make $1 on it. Built one for a guy in Birmingham, Alabama. And I learned how to post it on the Barbecue Brethren site. And a guy in Tennessee, my buddy Will, bought one from me. And then from that point, it just started exponentially.
Yeah.
We started investigating building smokers. Trying to fine tune things, going into the cabinet models and stuff like that. And it kind of snowballed from that point. At first, we were not making a penny. I can tell you that. We weren't making a dime, but now, sure. If you didn't make business, you wouldn't be doing it. Didn't make money, you wouldn't be in business.
I remember those days so his name on the forum was Tuscaloosa Q because he's from Tuscaloosa. One of the things we used to do on the forum back in those days was me and Derek and a couple of other guys, we'd mess with people on their profile pictures. We would change stuff around. I think your profile picture says, "Hey, ain't I cute?"
Yeah, that's right.
Still got two big old googly eyes on it. Anyway, it's funny
that's
stuff.
Right.
And anyway, but so you guys were building one of them. It was a big cooker trailer, with a roof on it.
Yeah,
and stuff.
That's right.
And you guys was building.
That's right. And I'll give a shout out to my buddy Cam too. He helped me a
Cam.
lot. Frank helped me. Just a lot of different people. I'm just telling you, a lot of people were involved. You don't want to take claim to fame when other people helped you. Sure, we got skills, but other people helped us to learn. And Tyler, we just developed stuff along the way. And then Ross is in there now with Tyler, and they're in the new shop, and big things will be coming. They're doing good things. So
Aaron over here too, he's from Arizona and stuff, and he's helping us with the welding class and stuff. But real quick, I wanted to ask you a question though, Paul.
Okay.
So as far as like the current, I'm going to call it the barbecue economy, right? Because it's different than everything else.
Oh yeah.
So as far as the current barbecue economy, do you think there's room for other people to start building cookers?
Absolutely. Sure there is. Yeah. I mean, really, absolutely.
If there's a guy out there that's been like kind of scratching his head thinking maybe I want to get in here and start building some bits, there's plenty to go around, ain't there?
There he is. There's plenty to go around. I'm going to tell you, man, if you start out and fails a little bit, guess what? You're with the rest of us. We all have done it. I mean, we've made mistakes. We've done things. We, blah, blah, blah.
We worked our rear ends off and didn't make money on some stuff.
Didn't make a penny.
Matter of fact, it cost us money.
Yes.
I mean, there's been a few pop up over the last few years that are they build nice bits. They're working their way up.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's I know, and of course, anybody that's out there building any pits, their biggest challenge right now is with the price of steel and consumables, not just steel. When you run into one thing goes up, it's a snowball effect. Everything's gone up, even in California, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, your consumables, trailer parts, and down to your nuts and bolts that you put on handles on. It's tough out there right now. It's tough.
Yeah.
But hopefully, one day it's going to get better. You just got to hang in there and keep doing what you do.
Yeah. So Tyler, you got started then when you was 18, actually in the business. When did you operations?
Well, I would say It's always been, there's been cookers, and then there's been the other fab work we do.
Iron work.
Well, it's iron work. We do a ton of heavy equipment repair. We work on dump trucks, backhoes, loaders, trash headers. We do commercial jobs. We were at the University of Alabama, on a huge commercial job, which was the new Tutwiler Residence Hall. We were out there for a year and a half, which honestly, a lot of that stuff no one really even knows about as far as the barbecue world goes. So, but as far as cookers, I would say that we kind of, which Paul's always, always there in the shop, forever. We worked in the same exact shop. Paul just worked for Paul, and then, we were all under Shirley Fabrication. Right. But we had guys that worked for us because that was our job. Paul works full-time in the refinery, and he builds cookers on his 4 days off, so he works pretty much every day.
Non-stop.
Yeah, he's out there working every single day. And, we're doing the same thing as well. So it's all Shirley Fabrication, but
it's all the same.
So essentially, it's the same. You get the same exact product, whether it's from Paul or from us. Of course, we have more guys working with us, of course, so we're putting out more cookers, but they're essentially the same. The same exact.
How many guys work for you?
I think there's 11 of us total.
11. Freaking hauling, dude.
Including us. Including
you guys. That's great.
Sometimes they'll include me, and they'll let me come over there and work a little bit.
They'll let you.
If they were going to build me a little safe room, they said one time or something, to keep me pinned in, because I was subject to get a little irritated.
They're about 5 miles from one another, but guaranteed, whether Paul's a home worker or off work, he's going to be up there at least 4 days a week. You're going to see his face at least.
I'm coming up checking, looking. Yeah. Saying, Tyler, I can't keep my hand out of it.
He may stop by for 4 minutes, but he comes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
Carl here wants to know, how many cookers have you built?
God. Well, you go back and track.
I will tell you this. I moved houses. We moved from one house to our other house. And I have 2 cardboard boxes. They're rectangular shape. And they're about 3 foot tall. And they've got 9x11 envelopes full of bills.
It's been well over 1,000. I mean, well over 1,000.
You pick the cardboard box up. I would say it's probably 2,000.
Yeah.
I would say close to that.
Especially now that we're doing the 36s, that's picked up the small package.
We do it. We do a lot. And it depends on, and Tyler can tell you this. I mean, if you're doing a standard 36 model, it's pretty much the same. It's standard, doesn't have any upgrades, stainless steel, blah, 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 blah. You can turn them, roll them out quick. But where you really get into lead times and more when you get into a custom build.
Yeah.
That's one thing we put ourselves out there as custom builders. We have guys that have sent us blueprints of what they want built. Have we not?
Absolutely.
He has.
And a guy recently that named actually Antoine Washington, he's out of Georgia. He sent us which in his cooker, actually he got his cooker last probably Thursday or Friday. We haven't built any cooker like this. He sent exactly what he wanted, and we built it exactly like he wanted.
Right,
that's cool.
It was a traditional offset cabinet model.
Cabinet doors, yeah.
He wanted an insulated firebox with servings, and we built it exactly like he wanted.
Yeah.
And it's a sharp cooker.
That's cool.
The only time sometimes if somebody sends you something, you will make a recommendation like, hey man, I don't know about that. I'm not sure, but end result, if they're paying the money for it, you try to do what they want.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So Ross, when did you jump on board?
And I was probably, I don't know what year it was, but Tyler, he had me over at the shop when I was, like you said, 10, 11. And I really started getting into stuff when I was probably 13. I remember I was 13 when he let me grind out the first bumper. And I thought that I was holding a golden grinder. I mean, I was so proud to grind that bumper. And so
that's cool.
A lot of my buddies from school, that good work ethic, good guys that started to work with us, some of Tyler's buddies. And so all the guys at the shop, we all know each other. There's a few guys that were new that went to welding classes and stuff. We got a good group of guys. And Tyler, he brought me in early. And, him and Paul both have really created the work ethic that I have, just instilling in me and how important it is, just to do things right. And so I was young. I was out at the concrete plant with Tyler at 14 years old, cutting with a torch. And
and when y'all hear me speak, you hear me talking about my boys. Ross is just like my son. He's just like my son. I treat him like my son. I have disciplined him like my son, and he has got really pissed off at Paul.
Yep.
He told his mama one time, he said, I love Paul, but I kill him sometimes. He makes me so mad.
Man, I remember, when growing up in high school and stuff, all my buddies would come over. We'd go duck hunting and stuff on the weekends. We'd go duck hunting. It'd be about 7 o'clock, 7:30. I wasn't even close to ready to go home yet. Tyler would text me, what time are you going to be at the shop? I'd go home, carry the boat home, go in the house, and all my buddies would go to sleep. And I'd put on my work pants, head on to the shop. And I'm thankful for it, because I love it. I love every bit of it. And we've been blessed. We really have.
Yeah. Richard's saying I'm building a reverse flow
Yeah,
smoker of a
Richard, why?
250-gallon tank, and I'm getting ready. Let's see what
pull
it
him
says.
up here.
Okay. I'm building a reverse flow smoker out of a 250-gallon tank, and I'm getting ready to put the exhaust stack in after this, Tyler, on. But it has to be offset.
He has to offset
in it. If so, how do you cut that out? I'm assuming a teardrop type opening.
If it's going to be on the domed end of the tank, for what you're doing, the easiest way that I can tell you to do it, if you have a short drop of pipe, you can get it and sit it where you want it located on the dome radius of your tank. Sit it where you want it located and just spot it there level. And you can get a piece of flat soapstone, or either you can get a straight edge and stick it where it goes on the tank. So it's going like this, but as long as you mark it going straight down, and then just go around the stack like this.
1 inch at a time.
Oval shape.
And mark it. Well, when you're looking at it from the side, it's going to look straight, but if you go back and look, it's going to look like an elliptical shape.
Yeah.
If you cut it out like that, you'll get it, you'll drop it down in, and it'll fit perfect.
Piece by piece, even if you have to go sit it down in there, cut a little bit off, sit it back, cut a little bit more off till it fits. It'll go. Yeah,
another trick that I saw a pipe fitter doing is, actually Bob told me about this, but I saw some videos about use a piece of angle iron because that angle iron will sit perfectly flat on that pipe, and then you just run it down and then hit your where the two ends of that angle is, move it over, hit it again. Just kind of follow that around.
Yeah, I see.
You could actually.
I can tell you another way too, and because I did Boilermaker work for years, you can do this too. You can get whatever size pipe it is, if it's 6 3/8 or whatever, OD or whatever. You can set your radius marker up, draw a regular circle around that. Have it center punch where you put your marker. Draw a regular circle around that. Go off that one center punch, 1/8 of an inch downhill, draw another circle. 1/8 of an inch uphill, draw another circle. And it's going to elongate everything. You're going to see it. And both sides will be elongated. You cut it, and it'll go.
And if you intend to do any more, like if you intend to make another one, if you'll keep that drop of pipe that you cut out, keep you can sit it on top of the next one and trace around it. And you got your oven.
Hold on to a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
I'll make that cope and spend.
It's gold, isn't it?
That.
Just keep
Just
it.
make another one and put it on the shelf and write on there.
Yep, exactly.
24-inch belt. Here's the teardrop.
Yes.
The beauty of it though is you can cut that hole, even if you have to trim it 96 times.
Yep.
At the end, once you get it put in there, nobody knows.
Nope.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, so this right here is a testament to you guys right here. This is killer.
Yeah.
Daniel Dunn, you know that name, Tyler. Here's what he has to say. Been on Tyler's waiting list for 2 years. I know I've emailed him well over 100 times. He graciously responded and answered every question. Real good people like them make me say, take my money. Dude, when somebody's been on your waiting list, for 2 years, and he's still a super fan.
Yeah,
That's saying something right
Whenever
there.
you get your cooper, I guarantee you there's gonna be sweat and hard work.
No
Yep.
doubt.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Like, because I mean, it's an industry disease. It's a disease in the industry, right? And the problem is not that pit builders aren't fast enough or aren't good enough.
Right.
That's not the problem. The problem is there's too much demand and not enough pit builders.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That's really what the issue is.
And the one thing with us is, we're not going to shortchange anybody.
Yeah.
Whenever we do something, if it takes us a week to do it, that's just how long it takes, because everything we do, if it's not perfect, which Ross is probably one of the most, I can't even describe it.
He makes me mad sometimes.
Yeah, it's a sickness.
I can't help it. Too tedious.
Whenever he does it, it's gonna be perfect. When you get it, it's gonna be perfect.
Time flies.
Oh,
Yeah.
too tedious, man.
Yeah.
I can't. That's something I can't control.
But you would rather have that than somebody that don't.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
cam that back as opposed to somebody
Yes,
that
yes.
does not see that, and then
That's
you're trying to cam them up to pay attention.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
So kind of gonna ask a question here that might make you have to be a little vulnerable here, right? Okay, you ready? So what advice? So you guys have had a big waiting list because you're world famous. You guys do awesome work. Quality speaks. And Paul's big mouth when he gets on the camera. That's
Yep.
hilarious.
It's me.
So what advice would you give to a pit builder, a guy that's wanting to go pro, that's getting into it, that's starting to kind of get the snowballs going,
Right.
and it's just ready to take off without him, right? That's kind of where he's at as far as getting leads and making promises,
Right.
getting jobs scheduled, trying to have some kind of a timeline. What advice would you give that guy?
I would say to under promise and over deliver as far as timeline goes. Nobody is going to be mad about getting something sooner than expected. So if you tell a guy, you're like, look, I can have your cooker ready in 6 months. Well, if you got it complete in 4 months, happy man.
Yeah.
But if you tell them you can have it ready in 6 months and it takes you 12, then
You got
they're going to be
problems.
mad.
Yeah.
And you don't ever want to have to rush something to complete it. We've had time. There's been one cooker that stands out, in my mind, is that Ross. He worked 24 hours straight to have a cooker completed.
Mhm.
And I had flown back from Colorado. I was on a ski trip. I got back from Colorado at 7 o'clock that night. Ross came and picked me up. I went to the shop and worked till 1 o'clock that next day to make sure that we had it completed, because that's what we told the guy we were going to do, and that's what you have to do. So
Right.
the main thing is, I would say, is to do what you say you're going to do. Because if you don't, then once you get, it'll take you years to get a good name, but it'll take you one day to get a bad name.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
One day.
And one thing, and I know this is true, if you'll honestly be honest with customers and say, man, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you, I'm running behind a little bit. And
Yeah.
communicate with them. I have never had one that got mad.
Me too. Yeah.
Have you? I've
No,
never got
no.
one. If you just genuinely do it and tell them
Yeah.
the truth.
Sometimes.
If you hide from them now, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. We call it Murphy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
Yeah.
Murphy happens, man. He comes out of cracks.
Yes.
He's all over the place. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Things happen. You can have
Yeah.
equipment breakdowns.
COVID.
And stuff. COVID. That's a big deal, man.
Another thing,
Supply chain.
if I could
Yes.
recommend one thing, would be to do top tier work.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
gonna do it, if you're gonna do it 100% or not at all.
Yeah.
Because which is, not everybody's this way. There's some people that would just they just want to build it and get it done. But with us, I think a lot of people. I know this guy right here. He showed me some awesome stuff.
It's crazy what he
Oh,
does. It's
yeah.
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Phenomenal. I'm jealous.
I can tell you right now, he didn't whip that out in 3 hours.
No.
No.
It took him, time and dedication to build it, and a lot of people take value in having something that a craftsman builds. So,
Yeah.
you know, take pride in your work, you know, round your corners, you know.
Yeah.
Just do it.
You know, just, you know, make everything perfect.
Yeah.
They're as perfect as you can make it. Nobody's perfect, but at least people see and they notice the pride that you take.
Yep.
in
Absolutely.
what you do.
Yes.
You know, initially, that takes a long time to get down. You're cutting something and it's not square, so then you need to make it just right. And if you cut yourself short and you say, "Oh, it'll be fine, I'll fill it in," you keep saying that, and
Becomes
then you get to the
routine.
end, and that thing is not.
Well, yeah,
straight.
that's what in the
It's not
beginning.
happening.
In the
Yeah.
beginning, if you let one thing go in the beginning, it causes errors
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
might as
No
well
way
just
it's
start
gonna
out.
work itself out and be perfect at the end.
Yeah, you'll be
It's
compensating
compiling
the
a
entire
problem.
time. Yeah.
So I always say just take that step back, don't cheat yourself, make sure things are where they're supposed to be, where you intended them to be, making a cut, drilling a hole, nailing the center, whatever it is, and then continue your build.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Over time, you will speed up naturally. At
Yeah.
first, it may take you longer to get things perfect, but over time, that'll pick up, and then it'll just become common.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And I
good.
see there's this thing about the calculators, Feldon
Yeah.
calculators,
Carl wants to know.
helpful, and all that. Is it
Is it
helpful
is
or
it
completely wrong? It's
Well,
not
hey,
complete.
let's tell the history first. though.
Yeah.
So it all started on the smoke ring.
That's right. Yep.
That's really
That's
where it all
right.
started. And but our calculator, the Feldon calculator, both came from the original deal, Alien Barbecue,
Right. That's
is
right.
where it was, and Cam and all those guys from the smoke ring and all that. But then go ahead, how do you feel about
Yeah,
it?
I'm gonna tell you what. For somebody just getting into pit building, this is the way I feel about it. It is a great starting point.
Yeah.
It is. It's not. I don't want to say it's not right, but I don't want to say it's cut and dry right.
Yeah.
It's not. Wrong either. I'm just saying it is a great starting point. After building well into the thousands of cookers, I instinctively know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I know that this is going to work, and I guarantee you. There's. In fact, I saw a pit builder on one of your sites, on one of the podcasts, talking about it. He said you just know after a while.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just know.
Yep, that's true.
Well, how do
we
you
have
feel about
experience.
that? The calculator?
So the
It's
truth
not wrong.
is,
I'm not saying it's.
well,
But I'm not saying it's absolute.
the truth is, if you run the numbers on my calculator, barbecuepitcalculator.com, or Feldon's, you will get exactly the same numbers, probably. It just depends on, Feldon wrote his with HTML, so his work's a little different. Ours is written in a database application, which actually runs on PHP way back in the internets.
Right.
And stuff happens,
Right.
So the math kind of works a little bit different sometimes. However, they're very close. What is different is the application of those numbers. Like, we're going to tell you to go not 100% on the number. We're going to tell you to go between 103 and 115% differential on your firebox, for instance.
Right.
And so we've got a window there that we're going to tell you to try to be in. But it's just a real good rule of thumb. That was the original intention of those the old spreadsheet back in the day, and everybody just has their pitch on it. Feldon, their site is going to tell you different than what we tell you to do as far as application goes. And truthfully, like Paul said, you build enough cookers, you kind of just like figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
what have
You
we
do.
been doing that's unnecessary as far as the way that our customers want to run our cookers, and experience them. So the truth of the matter is, how many 1,000-gallon pits out there are built with a 250-gallon firebox? A lot of them. And that's
yes.
about 25%
I
how
agree
big
with
I would
that.
tell you to go.
Yeah.
If you was using my numbers, I would tell you, what did I tell you, Tyler?
Yeah.
500 gallon, half of 500. That's just what our numbers always said, But it works. It works for those guys. They have their design. They have their way they build
Exactly.
it, And
Also, I want to say this for a beginner or somebody starting out. Remember this. I'll say guys that have built, I have just read forums where they build by that calculator, where they go back and insulate it, and they don't take into consideration. They've taken, they'll put fire brick in it, and they've made it smaller and don't even really realize it.
Yep. They've
So
displaced.
I personally think it'd be better to be bigger than
Mhm.
smaller.
Yeah, it
All
is.
day long.
It is.
Stack wise, everything.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Aaron?
Well, I have not made as many cookers as these guys, for sure. I don't even know if I've crested the double digit, but I have used your calculator each time, and
Yeah.
I make some decent food off that thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's all about
Yeah.
To do its thing? Is it not
Exactly.
generating sit?
Yep.
Is it exit? Is it flow? So
It-
I've been paying attention
Yeah.
to the form and the build and all that. And I'm new to the cooker world.
Or I'll say-
like recycled metal art. But once you get the form and there's hundreds of people chiming in on this sucks, this is the best, this is the only way, you just kind of grab all that
Yeah.
and work
It can be confusing,
and generate your own list.
Your own
and then
opinion, your own
start
way.
your own trial
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean those guys that do the 250 on 1,000-gallon, they build their fire totally different than I do.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that too, because I mean,
Yeah.
we're,
Oh, yeah.
we've always said, Smoker Builder has always said, you know, with plans and things like that, 50% of it is the design of the cooker. The other 50% is the guy running it.
Yeah.
So if I design a pit around how I think is the best method to make it for a beginner, because that's really where we focus, a DIY guy, somebody that's going to do it himself, you know, that just wants to get into it, you know, that's our perspective. So when we do it for that, we're giving him like the best, like rule of thumb, easiest entry point is what we're looking at. We want to get him excited about it and get him to want to do it more.
Yes.
And if he has success with his first experience, he'll probably want to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and
The
so
third cooker is gonna be a sweet one.
that's the
Yeah,
sweet one.
that's
Yeah,
about the
every
truth.
time, man. And,
That's
and
the
so
truth.
if you can just help get them past that bump, you know,
Yeah.
and then they can do whatever the heck
You're
they
gonna
want.
rush one, you're
Yeah.
gonna make one the wrong
Yeah.
size,
Say,
then you take the
damn
notes,
it.
and then you're gonna get one together and build that third.
I never, I didn't believe it. I built the big one we built, and it worked good. But my superintendent at work, the first one we ever built, is a huge one on the trailer. He said, "Man, you'll have to build about 3 before you like it. It's gonna be like." I said, "Ain't no freaking way, buddy." I said, "Much time as I put in this one." Next thing I know, I sold it, and I'm after building. And I'm in I've got a really big one that's been sitting in the corner at the shop for a while now. I got to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I knew my first couple pits weren't gonna be like my final desired pit. So this first chance I got to move them along, I'm like, I just need to sell these, get them out of my face, and I can start again with my next set.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the biggest mistake that people make on building their own cooker is the intake and discharge.
Yeah,
I think that is not enough air coming in and not enough.
absolutely.
I agree with that 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You can have a firebox as big as Walmart, and if you got a little bitty stack on the end, it ain't.
That's one thing I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of. It's just the diameter mainly. You know,
And one other thing too, young people that get say one of our pits. I've had guys get our pits, and man, it don't work. It ain't working. We only though we've sold 1,500 or whatever. And I said, let me see your wood, and he'll have a log like this big around. He said, well, my neighbor's a fireman, and he said that would work, But I said, well, look,
I had a gentleman.
you
Firefighters put fires out.
they don't start 'em.
They don't like great. They don't start them.
I had a gentleman that you got a big cooker.
Yeah.
It was everything was oversized, stack, firebox, everything was oversized. And he said he couldn't get it above 200 degrees, and I was like, something's got to be wrong. And he sent me a photo of this fire. And it was one log in it that was probably 16 inches diameter.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't split, and I was like, that works in a, if you're making a fire out in the yard, but you gotta have the wood, it's oxygen. You gotta have
Fire
oxygen. Fire management is key.
It is.
That's key. I mean,
It is.
You can almost cook on most incorrect cookers if you can pay attention to fire.
Fire. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
a big deal. It is,
So you can,
Huge,
if you
huge
don't have
deal.
this cooker, then you're not, you just didn't know how to cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just all. So I got to hang out with a dude named Al Fragoni here a few weeks ago,
That's a
and
solid name.
dude, and Al is actually from Argentina. He does open fire,
Oh, yeah.
like live fire stuff. Like they take a wagon wheel, big old wagon wheel, cut the spokes out. That's their bead, They got flat pan
Right.
in it. Build fire. They got stuff hanging on like this trapeze act that's over the top of the. Dude, it's so cool. And like hanging out with that guy and watching him cook barbecue just as good in that open fire as we cook in an offset or whatever, probably better sometimes. And dude, it's all about heat control, and it's just like knowing your fire, knowing where to put the heat, knowing how big your cold bed has to be, knowing when fuel, like
Yeah.
when do I add fuel? Is it already pre-lit? Like
And that's not
what to
like-
do?
There's no chart to plug that in.
Yeah, no,
Because
it's
wood
experience.
wood
Is
is
your
seasonal.
wood good? That's right.
Yeah.
The moisture
Yeah.
content is different.
Mhm.
The-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All of that stuff factors. So you
Yeah.
have to learn about
That's
the
right.
wood, the
Mhm.
burn, the smoke, all that matters. to get
Yeah,
that.
if you ever, anybody watching this out there, if you ever have a chance to go watch Al Fragoni or any of those guys like him cook, Dark Side of the Grill is another one. If you ever have a chance to go watch Mel from Dark Side or any of those guys cook like that, it's worth it. Go do it.
I need to check that out myself.
it's freaking
I've never
cool.
seen it.
It's
Yeah.
a different way of doing things, man. It's exciting, but yeah. So knowing how to run it is the other 50% of the battle.
There's one explanation, that I tell guys, you'll see guys cooking with, quote unquote, dirty smoke.
I was just about to talk about
Let's say that you're
White.
let's say that you make a fire out in your yard. You're burning leaves or whatever. You may never have smoke directly on you, but that evening or the next morning or whenever you take a shower and you wash your hair, you're gonna smell like a fire.
Yeah.
But you didn't have any smoke on you at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get the smoke from
Yeah.
from the fire.
It's
So
coming
you
off
don't
the
have
wood.
to have this white smoke coming out of your stack.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people think that they need that. They want that thing smoking. You hear Paul talk about all the time, a kind of a clear blue looking.
Yeah.
Or vapor. It's almost like
Yeah, you almost can't even see it coming out of the
You're
stack.
gonna get the smell, which is essentially what
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing Paul talked about that I never thought about was that really is carcinogens from smoke. If you're really smoke, I mean, if it's just obviously when you first throw some meat, when you're throwing wood on there, initially, of course, it's going to smoke when it's light up. Once that fire gets rolling, but people with it smoking, you really just, it's not
You'll
good.
get poisoned.
Yeah, it's not good for
exactly.
you.
Somebody, it might have been Cam that said that. I don't remember. Somebody in the old days there was talking about like what's in that, and you get this like numb feeling on your tongue. It's like it's actually cyanide
Yes.
is in
Really?
that.
Wow.
Yeah, And there's one of them old smoke ring guys was talking about it. I don't
Yeah.
remember who it was. I think it was Cam, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, like getting clean smoke, getting a good complete combustion, very important, and it's 50% pit design. The other 50% is how you run it.
It is.
You know?
I think that fire, just knowing how to make your fire.
Mhm.
Knowing how to make your fire, and one major thing is getting a good coal bed established.
Yeah.
Because if you start off with a few pieces of wood, well, it will be
No
long
chance.
before there's no coals left because it's burnt down in this ashes. Well, then you got to go again, and the next thing you know, all you're doing is just burning a lot of fresh wood.
Yeah.
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 Keeps the heat. Yeah.
So if you got a good coal bed, then all it is you put a little bit of wood in there, and
Now you're just playing your timing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Shirley Fabrication perspective on traditional offsets. You guys just broke into it. Kind of give me your feedback on how you feel about it.
I think that
Is let me ask you this, because it could just be that, and it's nothing wrong with this at all. It could be that you guys are getting a lot of requests for it, so you decided to build them like that, or is it because you guys want to build them?
I think you're
both.
Both.
We're
Mhm.
fabricating.
Yeah,
We like building different stuff.
don't want to build the same freaking thing every single
No.
time.
Exactly. We could be building a rock box for a crack cover. We could
Yeah.
be building a roof rake for a bulldozer. It's fun to just change up what you're doing.
I mean,
On tradition, I think a lot of it's personal preference. What
I do
you
too.
grew up on, what you like.
Well, back in the day when your old man was on the forum, that's all we talked about was reverse flow.
Yeah. You didn't hear anything.
You
about
didn't
it.
hear nothing.
No,
Everybody was
never,
like, "You don't want
never.
no offset."
I think it's a fad. I think a lot of it. I think some of it is a fad. I don't
That's
know.
old dinosaurs are saying. It's
Yeah,
a fad.
I've had people say, reverse flows. Well, I'm not going to tell you who said this, somebody. But anyway, they said, reverse flows were inferior cookers. Well, go tell Conley Crawford, who just won a grand championship on our reverse flow in Texas last week. And another guy got a call, first place call in chicken or ribs or something. And I honestly believe Aaron, I mean, I'm just going to use Aaron Franklin.
Yeah. So
Aaron Franklin.
He's the one that started the fad.
Yeah. But he could get on one of my reverse flows and cook, and it would be just because he just knows how to
He
cook.
freaking knows
You
how
know,
to cook.
plus, and I'm not saying anything about Aaron. He's great. I know he's fantastic, but his brisket he's cooking probably ain't what I'm getting at Walmart or
No.
Sam's or what.
He's got
I'm not
his
being
own
negative.
herd.
Yeah,
he's
he's got his own meat, man.
I think
Come on.
Another,
for
Yeah.
beginners,
yep.
I think you go if you got a traditional offset and you got a reverse flow, and neither one of these guys have ever cooked in their
Yes.
lifetime. If the guy that cooks on the traditional offset
Mhm.
and the guy on the reverse flow, the guy on the traditional offset is more likely to burn up his stuff
Yeah.
than he is on the reverse flow.
Reverse flow is like the easy button.
Right,
It is.
exactly.
It is.
That's what I was going to say. I've actually had a lot of customers. I've had some talk to me prior to getting their smoker from us, and they say, "Man, I've never used a reverse flow. I've always, my granddad cooked on traditionals. That's all I've ever known." And they've got lots of questions, and some say, "Well, this is going to be my first one." I say, "Okay, I'm excited for them to try it," and then they'll reach back out to me afterwards and say, "Man, that is the easiest, lowest maintenance, as far as it's just the easiest time I've ever had
I think
smoking."
a traditional is going to throw you immediately into your fire management skill.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm going to build me a traditional offset. I want one.
I want one.
I do. I really do.
At this point, you guys have tons of hours. But
Yeah.
right out the gate, I think the reverse flow is going to be a little more forgiving for your fire.
Absolutely.
It's going to give you that smoke and stuff time to make its way around and out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's more money. So when you
I'll
initially
say
buy
that-
in, they're going to choose
Traditional
Yeah.
offset is hands down easier to do. It
Right.
Oh, yeah. It's a money
requires
maker.
less fabrication work. It requires
Less plate.
less calculations. A traditional offset is much more forgiving as far as if you're building your first cooker, you better go to traditional offset
Mhm.
because you can mess up way quicker building reverse flow than you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
That's why I was glued to the plan when I was making my first.
Yeah, the
You know,
plan. The
reverse
plan's kind of
flow.
make it easy. It removes the frustration of trying to figure out all the
It
math.
does. Oh, yeah.
If
You know.
if you've never built a reverse flow, guaranteed if you just go out on a limb and want to build one, and you don't do any any
Research or
legwork
anything.
as far as saying what needs to happen, how big your step, all that.
I
More
remember,
than likely.
I remember asking him great questions about, what about this throat opening?
Yeah.
And he just looked at me going, you're overthinking it.
Right.
Just relax, it'll be okay. This portion's going to be fine this size.
Yeah,
Believe me.
just go with it.
And now that I've pumped out some smoke.
You just instinctively know.
I
don't you?
recall that portion. I'm like, yeah, pretty okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. And
That's
it
right.
goes well,
Yeah,
That's
You know,
right.
and I think, traditionals they're starting to be more prevalent in our shop and stuff, but really, I mean, the demand it's not that we choose to build reverse flows over traditionals necessarily. We build plenty of traditionals and I like them all, I like them all. Paul's really the man to ask, but people just,
For
order
us,
more.
it's our clientele,
Right.
mostly reverse
Right.
flow, because that's
That's
it's
what
what
we
we
do.
found the business on. That's
Right.
what we done. That's what we do. You have to get in some general offset stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to be
Well,
productive.
also,
I don't know.
So you,
And I
another-
like it. I think they look good.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
thing to do is look at I don't know, for when you're doing marketing research, look at Google Trends and you'll see pellet grills. Like if you do pellet grills and then you type in offset smoker, reverse flow smoker, and all this other stuff
Right.
like that, and it'll give you a graph that shows you the trend of what people are searching for on Google, right? Well, pellet grill is always way up here, and then offset smoker is right there,
Right.
and then you got reverse flow now.
Right.
Used to be it was reverse flow and then it was offset,
Right.
so
That's
you can just kind of ride that trend, figure out what people are actually looking for. If you're doing it for money, for a living, building pits, it just makes sense. People want,
That's right.
and but when you're Shirley famous, we're gonna start calling it Shirley famous. when you're Shirley famous, you grill where the hell you
What I
want.
have no desire to build, and he has no desire to build, unless he has changed an insulated vertical cabinet.
Dude,
I
I'm out.
have no desire, none. I've gone. We went.
Well,
no,
Lyle, he's standing over there. You can
I've-
see him in the doorway. He's
I've
standing
gone
there.
through some of that a little bit,
He's
no.
built gravity
And I've worked
feeds.
on a lot of them that was warped. I don't like it.
We built a Austin insulated vertical, and I mean, it was awesome, but
Mhm.
everything we build is probably, it's gonna be thicker material than it probably needs to be, and it's gonna be heavier than it probably needs to be, and it's gonna be overbuilt, and there's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
For what we do, because we're not gonna put 20 gauge skin on the outside. That's
Yeah.
just not the way we work.
I can't do it. It won't let me do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to build an insulated firebox door ever again.
Ever.
I'll be straight up honest with you, and he will. We built started building when we started building our insulated fireboxes. We started building insulated firebox doors, and we must not know, but I mean,
They twist.
we had major problems out of them. And I've seen other people have major problems that are really well-known people.
We quit building.
You know, really well-known people because, the one guy we sold it to, he worked for a company that he got their mechanical engineer involved, sent us a drawing, we built it like that, and the dang door still warped. And we said, it's over. We're not doing this no more. It's
I
over.
traveled to 3 different states.
He did.
Did you?
With his
So look
welding
at it.
rig.
Yeah, when I go over rig, traveled 3 different states and swapped out insulated doors for 3/4 inch plate.
3/4 inch plate. My goodness.
So ain't doing no insulated.
Is it failing you?
I think I'll be honest with you. What I think it is. And
What
'cause-
makes it happen? I want to
So-
know.
I know
so
exactly what it is.
it's heat of rejection. You can't reject the heat out of an insulated firebox,
Is it cold and hot?
and they overfire it.
It's that, it's the inch that so whenever we're building, we did 4-inch plate inside, 2-inch startable, 4-inch plate outside. Well, the 4-inch plate on the inside got hot, and
it
you
moved.
would expect as it heats up, it expands. Well, the plate on the outside was cooler, so it was contracting, pulling.
Or
the
not
plate on the
expanding at the same
Yeah.
rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're moving at different rates, so therefore the
Something's
plate on the
gonna
outside is
give.
like, nope, you coming over here, dude. And then next thing you know, it's
We went as far as putting bars in them, cutting slots in the doors, plug welding them, saying it is impossible for this to move. And that son of a gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking, oh,
now,
Lord.
they can be built.
They can be built. I ain't saying that.
But it's just
It's not worth it for me.
Well, the real problem comes in when a pitmaster overfires the pit.
Oh yeah.
Because if that coal bed, what happens is you start with coal bed, you throw wood on it, the wood burns, becomes new coal bed, and that you just add wood too fast. Then your coal bed starts to kind of grow a little bit as you go, and then all of a sudden you bust that one log on Mac. That's what I would do. That thing, if you bust that log, it's going out of sight. You cannot bust that. You cannot hit the log with your poker. It's too early. It's not ready. Leave it alone. Because you got clear smoke.
That's your timing.
Everybody's wanting you to, get smoke, and so, if you got clear smoke, they don't think you got no flavor, but actually you still do, just as Tyler said. And then you throw more wood on and you bust up the other log. And now we're going to 400. It's over with.
And the thing about it too, when you've got insulated fireboxes on bigger reverse flows, offsets, and stuff like that, you're building a lot bigger fire than just a little cabinet.
Now I will tell you this. I think the biggest issue is with square inside, square outside.
Yeah.
If you do round inside,
I have a design for a round insulated firebox in my mind because I used to weld I did a lot of pipe fitting welding with a jacketed pipe with some. You ain't gonna work. But I butted in on you. I'm sorry, but I've just been thinking about that for a long time.
It's but you see a lot of round fireboxes, inside square. And usually the squares are 10 gauge on the outside. They're not usually quarter. You guys is overkill, even over my overkill. I'm quarter everything. You guys 3/8 and 3/4. So
I got a griddle. I got a griddle. Tyler just chewing my backside out outside a while ago. I got a griddle on that cooker. It's 3/8 thick. He said, "Dad, this is no sense in this." I said, Tyler, I'm OCD as heck. I just felt like it needed to be. He said,
Look how
"Man,
good Blackstone's doing,
yeah, I
man. And
know
they're
it.
only like 10
I know it, and
gauge.
I'm building a 3/8 griddle. It's heavy. He's right. It is. I made him and Ross get it out of the
Yeah,
truck.
you
I'm
might as
not
well
picking
get
that.
a tractor bucket and some chains to pull that thing off.
That's funny.
But hey,
know
it won't warp.
No, it ain't
will
gonna
not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, warp steel sucks. It does. doesn't
It does.
Huh?
And,
You know,
and,
especially a sprung door or something. Oh, my God.
Another thing with steel, it doesn't matter. I've been fooling with steel for years.
It's gonna do what it wants to do.
Whenever you think you got it figured out, what's going to happen,
yeah. Guess again.
it'll move again. Because whether you can get flake from, the steel mill, there can be different, steel is not just iron. They didn't just take iron out of the kind of make it. There are different alloys and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff that goes into it. Well, there
Different
could be a little
recipes.
bit more of this alloy in there, which whenever it gets hot, it moves a little different than this.
Mhm.
So
That's
steel
true.
is tough material, but whenever heat's applied, it does different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of like the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot different when you add each one.
That's right.
That's crazy, man.
That's
Oh
right.
my goodness. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this has been real fun, guys. I'm so glad. So Paul called me one day. I'm gonna tell you here.
You gonna tell on me,
Paul
right?
called me one day. He's like, "Why won't you have me on the podcast?" And I was like, "Paul, I'm saving it. Just trust me." Anyway, I've been wanting to have you on here, man.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
I think you guys are just killer. We've had a lot of good times, over the years, and
Yep.
talked about a lot of cool
We
stuff.
have.
And it's been super awesome to watch you guys grow, man.
Well, I mean, it's super awesome to watch you grow. I'm not letting any cats out of the bag, period, here, but never do that. But you'll
Yeah.
see something from old Frank.
That's right.
He's got something in
He
the
got it
works.
going on.
I don't want to say nothing.
Oh,
He's got
shoot,
something
yeah.
going on.
I might be buying a pit.
Oh, shoot, I don't know.
Frank got it going on. Frank's slick. Now, I'm gonna tell
So,
you.
so tonight we're going to cook etouffee.
yeah, I'm making some etouffee
What
right.
you guys don't know is Paul's a hell of a cook. Don't let him fool you.
I like
Yeah.
to do it. I
Yeah.
like to have fun, man. We do.
Probably how it got into cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Another, I always like to do this. I want to give a shout out to all our veterans out there,
Yeah.
man.
Amen.
Our veterans, man. Look, I'm gonna tell you what. There wouldn't be a soul sitting in this room right now if it wasn't for a veteran.
Absolutely.
We hobo off of your backs every day, man. And I'll include the police and first responders and everybody in there. But we are a big supporter of veterans. It's just I love to do a build for veterans.
Oh my God.
It just fires me up to do it,
Yeah.
because it's just something. It's something that's good. Means a lot to us. Because again, we hobo off their backs, man. We don't think about that. A lot of people don't think about it. We do. We thank God for them.
Cooking is such a tradition for the country, and especially the side of it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So as if you needed the bigger waiting list, okay? How do they get a hold of you, Tyler? How do they get on the list?
Email.
That's it.
Email. I have numerous phone calls every single day, and I hate not being able to get back to everyone. And a lot of the time, a guy will call me, and I'll just send the number to my brother Ross, because it doesn't matter who you are. There's no possible way that you can work at our shop from 5 a.m. to 2:30 or 3 p.m., go home, do 50, 60, 70 emails.
Sometimes
and
more
then,
than that.
Yeah, sometimes more, and then call 20 or however many people. You just can't do it. And I don't want people to feel neglected. But if you email us, I do emails every single day. And I may do emails, work at the shop from 5 to 2:30, get home, take a shower, do emails from 3 till 6, 7, 8. I've done it from 9, 10 o'clock at night, because I can respond to more people
Right.
via email than, talking on the phone. I love talking to guys on the phone. So does Ross. He'll sit there and Ross will talk your ear off anyway. But
He will.
He's
good, though.
Via email.
What's that email address?
It's Tyler@ShirleyFabrication.com currently, but what we're working on, we've got a gentleman building our new site. And by the way, if anyone goes to our website, ignore it. Please ignore it.
Yeah.
We've got a gentleman building a new site for us, and what he's trying to do is have essentially like a chat
Okay.
Where people can, there'll be several guys in the shop that, know cookers, know what we do, different models, designs, to where we can all interact with that customer. So we, you get almost instant feedback, instant response.
Right.
Because, right now it's, I mean,
Even with
working 70, 80, 90 hours a week. And, of course, you'll have some guys get frustrated. But I just want everybody to know that I'm telling you, we're going
you got a 2-year
And
wait
to
list.
answer the question too, somebody said, well, somebody in the office, do you realize what you're asking there?
Oh my goodness.
That would even be worse.
Yeah.
You got to
It
tell
could-
them
it could
everything, and that just
I
won't
don't
work. Not for us. It won't
I don't
work.
think you could teach somebody to answer the questions that are asked.
No,
You have to
exactly.
build them.
Exactly. You have
You have
to
We
build
have a
it.
secretary that answers the phone and says, "Oh, this is Shirley Fabrication.
This is Shirley.
I don't know anything." that you're asking
This is
me."
Shirley.
Well, I can tell you what it'd be, hold on, let me go ask Paul.
Yeah.
Or let me go ask Tyler or Ross
Yeah.
or
If
whatever.
we're out there in the shop working, if you saw our video footage in the shop, I mean, I'm talking about we're running.
Yeah, you guys are hauling.
We get with it. We don't, fool around. We don't mess around. We don't play on our cell phone.
We don't eat lunch.
If I eat lunch, I'll sit on a 5-gallon bucket and eat a sandwich by my table. And that's about it.
Yeah. While he's welding or something.
Yeah.
So,
What he didn't tell you though is that I'm gonna retire from the refinery in about 2 or 3 years, and I'll pick me an office out, so I may be the official. I can answer your questions.
That would be
Tom, what's
up,
up,
Tom?
Tom? There y'all are. Look at him.
Yeah.
Come
Anyway,
here,
guys,
Mike. Come here, brother. No, man.
I appreciate you joining us tonight. The party's just getting started. We're getting ready to have etouffee.
Amen.
Happy hour, guys. We'll see you later.